Samarkand is the oldest city in Central Asia. In ancient times, it was a prosperous hub along the Silk Road. Today, Samarkand is in Uzbekistan, a former Soviet republic. The average monthly wage here is $100. If someone wants to go to a European country, they need the government's permission, but not if they want to go to Russia. The mother of these twin boys, Aziz and Laziz, is heading to Moscow to find work. Her situation is no different to thousands of others in many former Soviet republics which have experienced almost total economic collapse. Kasim has spent the past 10 years working on Moscow construction sites. He's back in the Russian capital after a week's holiday to his home country, Tajikistan, where he just had enough time to marry his young bride, Mavluda. But rather than enjoying a romantic honeymoon, she's joining him in Moscow, where Kasim wants her to get a job. The couple will need all the money they can to build a home in their native land for their future children. Mavluda didn't want to go to Moscow, but her feelings don't matter. In the past, all the important decisions were made by her parents, and now it's her husband who has the final say.
I said I didn't like the idea of going to Moscow, but my mother and grandfather said I must.
So you're bored here?
Yeah, I am.
When you first get here, it's always like that.
One of the couple's relatives in Moscow has agreed to let them stay in her rented flat for a while. Khasiat is seen as the most successful family member. She's worked in Moscow for 10 years. The young couple is confident she'll help Mavluda find a job.
I'll try to find someone for you. Please call me if there's an opening for the girl. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Khasiat is well connected. She has Russian citizenship and will soon own a house of her own outside Moscow. Khasiat needs to work hard to pay it off. She's employed as a cleaner in 3 different places.
Most of the people working here are my fellow countrymen who have no place to live and ask me for shelter. I help them, and they help me by building the house. I don't pay anyone for construction work. I just pay for the building material.
It took a long time for Khasiat to decide to sell her house back home, but she did it for the sake of her children.
Your motherland is where you feel the best.
In Uzbekistan, the twin boys, Aziz and Laziz, last saw their mother nearly 2 years ago. Their grandmother takes care of them. She wants the boys to learn to take pride in their homeland while they're still young. They were born in Samarkand, the grand capital of Tamerlane's empire and a mecca for scholars of the medieval Orient. Today, only ancient buildings serve as a reminder of the city's former grandeur. Industry is at a standstill, and most of its adults now work in Russia.
I often wonder whether a loving mother would abandon her children like that. I ask myself whether I did the right thing when I abandoned my own children. But then the thought that I'm doing something for them sets my mind at rest. They tell me, come here as soon as you can, we miss you so much. I try to comfort them. I say, I'm okay, be patient. I'll just work here a little longer and then we'll all be together.
In Moscow, Shakhnoza works as a nanny raising another family's children. The twins' mother has even had her name changed by her employers. The kids find it hard to say, so they call her Rosa instead. Shakhnoza lives in someone else's flat, far away from her own children.
You get so tired that you can't even think about your own family. I just forgot about it because I'm simply exhausted.
After her husband left her, Khasiat came to Russia, where she found work and started a new family. So then she had 4 children to look after.
You've come here to make some money. What's your dream? What do you want?
We want to build a house there.
In Tajikistan?
Yes, we also want to have kids.
What do you worry about?
I'm afraid my husband might leave me.
I was very worried that I could lose my job. So I even went to work on Saturdays and Sundays. It was that bad.
Though a trained schoolteacher, Khasiat had to work as an unskilled laborer and spent the night on the construction site.
Those were very hard times. You know, sometimes I even felt I didn't want to live anymore. But then I thought about my children and how we'd be dead if I didn't get back on my feet. I even had arsenic within reach if things really went bad.
Now those hard times are behind her. Khasiat's ex-husband has even sent her a friend request on a social networking site.
Should I accept the friend request or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Let him see how far you've come.
Yes, I'm very pretty.
Show him how much of a mistake it was to reject you.
I've grown strong ever since then. I'm no longer afraid of losing my job like I did before.
Until recently, it seemed that Central Asia's traditional ways of life would never change. Parents arranged the marriages, and children would wed for life. Each family had at least 4 children. Women kept the house in order while men were the breadwinners. Initially, only men would go to Russia in search of employment, but many of them stopped sending money back home. They'd found new wives and started families in their new home. The wives they left behind had to go to Russia to support their children. The women from other countries have better chances of finding a job in Russia than the men. Companies and wealthy families are only too keen to take them on as cleaners. Most of the women work long hours because they're employed illegally. They're deprived of all employment rights.
Are you looking for Fatima, the woman who works with her daughter?
Yes, yes.
Khasiat has come to a vegetable market on the outskirts of Moscow to visit her friend Fatima. She hasn't been able to reach her for 2 weeks, and Khasiat knows she's not well. 10 years ago, they lived together. Back then, their lives were very similar. Both husbands had abandoned them and the children. Both women left their homeland to find work.
At first, she gave us a helping hand. She helped me find a job for my daughter. My son and I were working in a construction site.
Fatima was lucky. She met a man in Moscow and had 2 more children, twin boys. But then life took a turn for the worse. She was alone again with only her teenage daughters to help.
Fatima's girls don't go to school. Ever since they came to Moscow, they just can't. The older daughter looks after the children, and the younger one, she wanted to resume studies, but couldn't because of her mother's poor health.
The girls have no time for school. The second daughter works with her mother, while the eldest looks after the young children. It's not clear why their mother left her country 10 years ago, or if she really did so for the sake of her children. Khasiat can't find her friend. Nobody knows where she is. Khasiat has been to her home only once before and doesn't remember the exact address.
All of these buildings look the same. I can't figure out which one I'm looking for.
This boy has always been known to his classmates as Kolya, a common Russian name. But his real name is Kurban.
I was called Kurban by my parents because I was born during the Muslim holiday of Kurban Bayram. But here I want to be called Kolya. In school, there's some kids who would tease and laugh at me if I went by my real name.
Kolya tells everybody that he was born here, but his mother, Khasiat, actually brought him to Moscow at the age of 4. But Kolya tries to forget about that. Khasiat is upset that Kolya has forgotten all about his roots. For the first time in 10 years, she's taken a holiday to celebrate her sister's birthday in her homeland. She's taken Kolya along to show him the country where he was born.
The city has changed so much in 10 years. It's beautiful now. I expected to turn up and find a dirty and dull place.
Is there a shopping mall here? Can we get a chicken burger? I'd like to meet friends, Alicia and the others, soon.
Do you remember them?
Well, a little bit.
They don't speak Russian, Kolya. How are you going to talk to them?
Look at the beautiful sunset. How beautiful. I'd love to take a stroll in the city center. I can't remember it at all.
In his secret laboratory, Tim Kirby was able to build the world's most sophisticated robot, which unfortunately doesn't give a darn about anything. Tim's mission? To teach his creation why it should care about humans and world events. This is Why You Should Care. Watch only on RT.com.
Permission free. Accreditation free. Transport charges free. Arrangement free. Risk free. Stereotype free. Download free broadcast quality video for your media projects at freevideo.rt.com.
When you have nowhere to live. When you don't have a family. When you have no one to ask for help. You can always count on this man. He's respected by criminals and authorities alike. He helps out ex-convicts and homeless people, like he used to be. A home for the homeless on RT.
I'm in Sochi, the longest city in Europe and the host of the 2014 Winter Olympic Games.
Sochi, thank you for the way you look today. And Sochi, thank you for the venues on their way. The dark days are gone and the bright days are here. The Olympics are coming, have no fear. And Sochi, it's so true, I love you.
Choose your language.
Good morning from me, Kevin Owen. If you've Bienvenidos a nuestra edición semanal.
Choose the news that concerns you. Choose the opinions that invigorate your mind. Choose the stories that impact your life. Choose the access to your RT.
When a baby is born in the ancient city of Samarkand, everyone hopes to persuade Granny Dodar to preside over this ceremony. The ritual is performed each time the baby is put to bed for the first 2 weeks of its life. A knife, stone, mirror, and even cockerel blood are used to ensure that the baby grows up to be a healthy, handsome, and happy adult. Granny Dodar is one of the most respected women in the city. She's the twins' great-grandmother and Shahnoza's grandmother. Dodar was a teacher of the Uzbek language and literature for more than 40 years. Her husband was a hero of the Soviet Union. The couple had 12 children of their own and adopted 2 boys. The Kharmakulovs were regarded as a model Soviet family and featured in many documentaries. Traditionally, married couples in Uzbekistan have large families. But unlike Granny Dodar's children, few of them ever receive a higher education. The whole family tried to talk Shahnoza out of going to Russia. Only one of Dodar's 40 grandchildren had ever gone abroad for a better life before. But Shahnoza was determined not to live off her family anymore.
I said to her, remember, your country is your mother, and a foreign land is your stepmother.
For the first time in 2 years, Shahnoza's employers in Moscow have allowed her to go home for a week for medical treatment.
New Year's Eve and the wedding were just too much. I didn't get enough sleep. I was drowsy when I stumbled on the staircase. I fell down and hurt my head and back.
When does the plane arrive? You should be here at 4 o'clock. No, they didn't go to school today. They're waiting for you.
When the twin boys learned that their mother was coming tomorrow, they were so excited they could barely do their homework.
She's coming here, and she won't go back. She's seen and worked enough. I've already found a job for her here.
Meanwhile, Hasiat and her son have arrived at their native village in Tajikistan. Hasiat hasn't been here for nearly 10 years. She's been working in Moscow all that time. At first, she simply wanted to survive. But then she started earning money for her children's education. After that, she started saving to build her house. In her home village, the residents greet her with a hero's welcome.
This is your friend Alisher Kolya. Where's Kolya? Do you remember playing with Kolya? It was at school. Remember or not?
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. How come you don't remember him? Are you older?
I think he is.
When were you born? Ah, you're a year older. You must remember him. He does.
I remember Kurban.
He doesn't know Kolya. Does he know Kurban? He was born at 3 minutes past midnight when we were celebrating the holy festival, Kurban Bayram. He had to be given the name Kurban because he's a boy. Allah gave him the name.
Do you think Allah will be angry if we call him Kolya?
Anyway, we call him Kurban, but others don't. We can't do anything about it.
This is how you do it. No, like this.
For the first time in his life, Kolya doesn't feel ashamed of his roots. He's happy to be called by his true name, Kurban.
There are many children around here. They're all good-natured. I wish you'd stay here for good. Kolya understands sometimes what we say to him because he responds, although he answers in Russian. You can also speak our language, can't you, Kolya?
The twins' mother is arriving late at Samarkand airport. Her flight from Moscow was delayed. The children are shy because they haven't seen their mother for such a long time.
What's the matter? Go to your mother. They're shy in front of their own mother.
They probably resent me because I've been away for such a long time. They were just little kids when I left.
This is an unusual morning for Shakhnoza. For once, she's preparing breakfast for her own children in her own flat. Her mother bought the apartment with the money Shakhnoza sent from Moscow. She hopes that her daughter will now stay here for good.
The children say, "Don't go away. You've got what you wanted to have. Don't go away now."
I say she won't go away anymore, but she...
It's still uncertain. I'd like to work a bit longer.
If you stay here, you'll have a job. I've already made arrangements.
But Shakhnoza can't possibly earn enough money to meet all her needs at a time. So far, she's been working to feed and clothe the twins and buy toys for them. Then she'll need money for their education and then their weddings. Shakhnoza's parents always told her where she should work and live and who she should marry. When she chose to go to Moscow to look for a job, it was the first decision she'd made by herself. Her husband was jobless, and her seamstress's salary was barely enough to buy food. Later, Shakhnoza found a job for her husband too.
I forced her to get married against her will. I wanted her to have children.
Yes, I was forced to get married.
It's okay, you wouldn't have found a better husband anyway.
They said I wouldn't find a better husband. If you don't marry him, you'll have neither a husband nor kids.
Meanwhile, Hasiat decided to take advantage of her stay in Tajikistan to look closely at her Tajik relatives in the hope of spotting a bride for her second son.
If we take her to the contest, she's sure to be Miss Russia.
Is it an offer of marriage?
I've come to talk it over and ask your opinion, considering that we're family.
My husband was my own choice, and my mother approved of it. I'm not against letting our children choose somebody to their liking. You know how things are done here. But I won't mind if they decide themselves. I don't want to interfere. Maybe they will match each other, who knows? Tell your son to come here, look at the bride, talk to her, and yes, win her heart. He must win her heart first.
And here's a future bride. But I've also got an 8.
The week-long holiday at home has flown by. Hasiat and Kolya didn't even have enough time to visit all their friends and family. As local custom dictates, the honored guests are given a noisy send-off with music and dance. But there'll be no dancing in Moscow. The people who come here to work don't get time off, even during national holidays. It's an important occasion for Hasiat today. Her second son has returned home from the army.
Oh, my dear son, my little soldier. Are you cold? Oh, it's wonderful to see you. We've all been waiting for you. My son has been discharged. It's such a pity we aren't at our place, otherwise the whole family would be here.
50 at least.
It'd be like a wedding. And we'd slaughter a lamb. To my son Zafar, to the soldier.
The next day, they all go to a shopping center just to have a look. They aren't planning to buy anything. The family comes here each weekend.
White is my favorite. I really like it. I see it in my dreams. Will we ever be able to buy it? Yes, we will. As soon as we move into the house. I adore white because it looks like a bright future for me. Kolya, I want everything in our flat to be white.
Now that Shahnoza is spending a week off in her native city of Samarkand, she wants to be with her children as much as possible. She hasn't made up her mind yet whether she'll go back to earn money for her kids' future by looking after someone else's children in Russia, or if it's more important to stay here with her children during their early years.
I've told her 1,000 times she can get plenty of work here. Her children are here.
My name is Kolya. I was born in Tajikistan. I live in Moscow. My dream is live in America. My sister live in America in New York. My brothers live in China.
Khasiat takes pride in showing pictures of her older children. Her daughter lives in the States. She graduated from the Moscow University of Tourism and Management. She works as a nanny in New York. Her older son goes to Beijing's University of Technology. He was even an extra in a recent Jackie Chan film.
I want the children to keep on moving forward. No rest, no stopping, always going forward. I want them to win over Moscow and win over other cities too. What do I want? What's my dream? Well, I hope that they'll be successful. I want them to have more luck in life than I did.
Mavluda will start her job tomorrow.
You must know 3 basic rules. 3. The first, you must always be polite. The second, never wait until you're told to do something. And the third, never tell any lies.
So far, Mavluda has been lucky. Her first job in Russia is not a cleaner as she expected, but working in a supermarket.